Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have special guest Patrick Coombs. He has coached 120 CEOs to realign with their greatest gifts and deepest purpose and to reinvent themselves for their next great chapter in their life. Additionally, for 25 years, he has shared his stories and strategies with millions of people around the globe as a motivational speaker and an expert on the pursuit of passion. Today, he is one of the only people in the world to have accomplished both a Hall of Fame speaking career and a comedic smash hit one-man theater show. And to that, Patrick is a 5-time author with more than 150,000 copies of his book sold. And you have a person who has overcome the odds and demonstrated what's possible when you lead your life with heart, passion, and purpose. He is here today to talk about his latest book, Purpose Code: Maximize Your Joy and Astound Yourself, and his company, Bliss Champions. All right. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Hey, thanks, Sheila. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yes, it's so good to see you again. So this show actually got started based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. There it is. The formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. I wrote it right before our pandemic. So we have had some situations that I couldn't even imagine. And yet it very much applies. And this show is based on that theory of getting back on track after a tough situation. So I'd love for you to share about a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Oh, okay, great. And congratulations on your book. I remember when it came out. Time in my life when I was off track. Well, I would say the biggest one was when I was, I'd already known what alignment with my purpose and my greatest gifts and my joy was. And I had been living that for a decade through speaking, at least. And then I drifted off course because I had an idea that seemed pretty good, and it was to make a software company. And so I endeavored for 4 years, Sheila. Really, I set everything else aside, and I worked for 4 years on a software company. And it just kept near missing and near missing and near missing. And near missing meant it wasn't killing. It was justifying itself financially, just barely, meaning I wasn't able to draw a salary. Any money we made went back into the software company. And at the end of 4 years, it left me scratching my head saying, why doesn't this thing work? Like, it's not working. I poured myself into it. I'm not making money here. I'm not over the moon about our results. I'm not feeling joyful and alive and great. It's time to quit this thing. And that was, so, it's not a story of completely falling apart. It's a story about misfiring for 4 years. And the key was I was misaligned with my greatest gifts and my deepest purpose. And the lesson was, I need to know exactly where my purpose is. And I need to know exactly, and I need to always stay aligned with leading from my greatest gifts. And even though the software company was a good idea and a pretty good fit for who I am, when you're either in extraordinary alignment or you're not. And so So I got back into alignment, Sheila, with my gifts. And once I got back in alignment with my gifts, everything started to flourish again. I started to make the money again. I started to feel my most alive, and to experience my greatest joys. So, look, in a nutshell, I would tell someone, look, I learned it's not aligned for me to be behind the scenes building a great software company. For some reason, that's not my purpose or my alignment.
Right.
But as soon as I get in front again and I'm coaching people to give their greatest gifts, I'm in alignment with who I was born to be, and the universe supports it.
Yes. Yes, that's so true. So how did you find this purpose? How did you get into alignment? What was that? Was it just one step at a time, or did you know what the purpose was and you're ignoring it, or how did that happen?
For someone to come in alignment with their purpose, the primary tool is to reflect backwards on where your life really worked, and where at the intersection of where your life seems to really work, because you've already experienced your purpose. Everybody's already experienced their purpose. Their purpose has always been there their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you do is you do a backwards investigation, and you're looking for the clues. And the primary two clues are, wow, my life was really working and I was really sourcing joy.
Yes.
It's at the intersection of those two things. So for me, it was looking back and saying, Patrick, when was your life really working? It was like, when I'm on stages,
Yeah.
my life really works, and I'm at maximum joy. So then I just give it a word. Like, what word would you give to your purpose? I'd say, and it's easy to give a couple words to your purpose once you spot it. And then there's this magical effect that happens, and I'll tell you about it after this. But my two words were, my one word is, if I'm on stage and I'm there to uplift people, things really work in my life.
Yes.
So uplifting has something to do with my purpose. It's like the stamp of God said, hey, we're making this model to uplift.
Yep.
But there were other words that I could apply to it that are also close. They map the territory, like to inspire or entertain. But see, inspiring and entertain have uplifting in common.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other word I can give to my purpose is, it has a lot to do with uplifting through performance. But that's being on stage as a speaker or an entertainer. Now, I told you there's a magical effect to when you identify the words that are kind of stamped on your soul. And they are the kind of the label for your purpose. When you identify those words and you say, I guess I'm just here to do that, you will quickly see, you can then look back in your life and say, God, it's always been there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's always been there. That has always been an imprint on my soul that's kind of been tugging at me and nudging me to be that person, to be that version of myself. That's alignment with your purpose. Now, the beautiful thing is, when you align with your purpose, there are multiple avenues that you can unfold and live your purpose, how to live your purpose out. There's not just one thing to do, but it means you're playing to your greatest gifts. You're playing to your God-given strengths. You're just choosing it, at various chapters in your life, you're choosing which vehicle to drive in.
Yes.
But you're always headed the same direction. So Sheila, for me, it meant, hey, you know what? I got too far away from my purpose of being a performer of sorts who is here to uplift other people. So I returned to speaking, and I started the company. I co-founded the company Bliss Champions. And so Bliss, both are vehicles where I, through speaking, can uplift other people and get them in alignment with who they were born to be.
Yes, that's beautiful. That is so, and it's so true. No matter what you do, like for my own personal life, I always found myself leading groups and working with people and inspiring people in my own way. And I mean, I had gift stores as this young 23 to 25-year-old kid. and just opening these stores. And my passion, my heart of those stores was these kids. So I had these children that were coming out of like foster care, girls and boys homes, and they had nobody wanted to hire them. And I had close to 200 children, young adults, that went through my training program. My business did incredibly well. I was really good at, gifts and retail, but my heart was those kids and helping people. And I think the community feels that. So even if you're placed in something, you think, well, this doesn't look like the box that I'm supposed to be in, but it is when you apply it. So,
when you apply it, so beautifully illustrated. So maybe we could just say it this way for the people listening. What I'm positive from life experience, not only my own, but helping other people now, is the universe is making you for a purpose. The universe makes each person and gives them a specialty. That specialty is this beautiful intersection of what you are gifted to do that brings you joy.
Right.
But I'm positive that the universe doesn't just print blank random people and say, oh, you're capable of anything. We're all capable of anything, but we're all designed for something special. And that something special is every person has a unique gift to give. And when you say, when you identify that unique gift at the intersection of you do it well and it brings you great joy, and then you just live from that, you lean into that, you trust that's what you should do with your life, you should leverage that, then life goes very different. It goes better.
Yes, and easier. I feel like I kept getting realigned when things didn't work out because it wasn't what I was supposed to do. It was what people told me I was supposed to do, to make money. And the only time I didn't really make money was when I chased it. The rest of the time it just showed up because I was just helping people and doing my thing. And so it's about letting go of that. The preconceived how we do it, I think, has a lot to do with it. You already know what it is, but how do you apply it? So, Patrick, I'd like to know, tell me, if I were to join your program, what would that look like? Can you give me an example of how that looks?
Our program, Bliss Champions, is designed very specifically for high-level entrepreneurs or CEOs. And high level means that the people that come to us have accomplished big things. They're not beginners at success. A lot of times they're sitting on top of very large companies that they created. Okay. And if it's not a very large company, it's still a very successful one. But what they all have in common, and the reason we exist, is people build these towers and everybody views them as the most successful person in their circle. And for a while, the building of that tower was extraordinarily satisfying. But there comes a point in every entrepreneur or CEO's journey where they're privately, secretly experiencing the feeling that something is missing. And that something has a lot to do with a couple things. They feel like, isn't it supposed to be more joyful than this? How did I build something so remarkable and yet I'm not ecstatic? I'm not truly joyful. And sometimes I like to say, how come you can build something really remarkable and tremendously successful, but the guide in the back of your rafting, your white water rafting, boat is much happier than you? Right? Because we all deserve that same level of happiness, especially if we build something significant. We should be as happy as the guide is the river guide.
Yes.
So, and then the other thing that CEOs, and there was a survey in 2015 done on 200 CEOs, and those 200 CEOs privately reported that 50% of them said were aware that they're not utilizing their greatest gifts. There's something about building a company that can take you away from your gifts because you become responsible for so many people, and you become responsible for all the things that are hard that need to be solved. And when you reach that place, that's where you might intersect with Bliss Champions, because Bliss Champions says, we understand. We understand that other people don't understand. And we have a process for getting you back to giving your greatest gifts and experiencing your real joy. But our process is specialized to protect these individuals from having to lose what they worked so hard to build, or having to go backwards, or having to make very difficult choices, because their map is, hey, I've built something significant. But when someone gets involved with the Sheila, now to be able to sort of more didactically answer your question, they're involved in a very small curated group of 6 to 8 other individuals like themselves, and through coaching and a retreat, an extraordinarily intense, joyful retreat in Hawaii, they emerge on the other side of those complex problems, and they are realigned with their purpose, and they have a plan to utilize their greatest gifts.
Incredible.
Or as Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss.
Yes.
And we introduce them to what exactly he meant by follow your bliss, and we help them identify where is their bliss calling them into the next great chapter of their life without going backwards.
Mm-hmm. So really, you can have both.
We don't use the word. Yeah, we eliminate the word or, because it's a mindset a lot of our clients bring to us is, well, you're asking me to do this or this. And we're like, no, we're asking you to do this and this plus things together in your life.
Yes. So it's a synergistic integration
of
life purpose and what you're already doing, and just creating something even better.
You know, Joseph Campbell is the guy who articulated the hero's journey, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you hear a reference to the hero's journey, that's Joseph Campbell's material. And Joseph Campbell was a scholar and a professor and a renowned author. And so somebody once asked Joseph, and Joseph Campbell is the one who popularized the phrase, who invented the phrase, follow your bliss, and which was infinitely more popular in the 70s, fell out of popularity in the 80s and the 90s, but is still an extraordinary directive in life, is to follow your bliss. But Bill Moyers once asked him, what is your bliss? What do you mean by bliss? And his definition was really simple. He said, that which brings you joy. Like, find what brings you joy and stick to that, was his directive. Now, although that seems simplistic, it's very difficult for 99% of people on earth to truly embrace and discern. We're not a culture that is steeped in a value of joy. We're a culture that's steeped in a value of money and a value of significance. And there's nothing wrong with significance, and there's nothing wrong with money. But when they're done at the expense of joy, everybody hits a wall and says, I've got money, I've got significance. Is that all there is? So when they asked Joseph Campbell, who articulated the hero's journey, what is the ultimate meaning of the hero's journey? When the hero goes on this quest, following their bliss, leaving home, meeting with mentors, crossing the desert, rising to the occasion, what is the quest for?
Right.
It brings about great treasures. And Joseph Campbell's answer was profound. And it's true for all of us, because we're all on our own hero's journey. He said, the hero's journey is a quest for aliveness.
Yes.
The hero's greatest reward is aliveness. When our clients come to us because something in them feels deadened, and when they leave us, they are reconnected to aliveness. And that aliveness is that feeling where you go, I'm passionate, I'm in alignment, I'm purposeful, I'm giving my greatest gifts, I'm loving life, and I feel connected to the people around me. So that, on the face, follow your bliss sounds like a simple directive, but there are many obstacles to that simple but profound directive, and they're complex. So we handle the complexity of making that internal and external shift to what is truly joyful and purposeful and aligned for a purpose, for a person that operates at a very high level.
Yes. Wow. That sounds incredible and so important. Now, for those listening in, what do you have this book out? Is the book connected to what you're doing now, the new book? Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. So this is a great way to start with reading this book.
Yeah, the book is actually was written 3 years into running the company. So it is based on the experience we've had with 120 clients and our own life experience. My partner and I, my partner is an epic entrepreneur who is a 9-figure entrepreneur who has built 20 companies, several of them global. I myself, if you will, have had a very strong solopreneur career as a Hall of Fame speaker, as a stage comedian with a one-person show, as a best-selling author, and a coach and strategist for major corporations. So together we wrote the book Purpose Code. The subtitle on the book is Maximize Your Joy and Astound Yourself. So when the hero goes on the journey to their bliss, they end up astounding themselves, which is a feeling of great aliveness. The book will take any individual, whether you're a CEO or not. It will take any individual and it will help you follow our process. It unfolds our process for how do you figure out what your purpose is? What is bliss? How do you know where your bliss is calling you? How do you get past the limiting beliefs that rear their ugly head for everybody? And then how do you actually bring that around to a step-by-step plan for moving forward? And what are the major pitfalls that everybody falls into? And I'd like to offer one of those pitfalls right away. Okay.
Yes.
So when somebody gets excited about these concepts, which hopefully everybody listening does, hopefully everybody would like to be in alignment with their greatest joy and their greatest gifts, right? And what they were born to do. It's a very sweet spot to run your life from. But when you're new to it, and if you do happen to on your own to discern this is where my bliss and my joy is calling me, the number one mistake that everybody makes is rushing into what we call the snake pit of how. They dive too quickly into how they're going to do it. And that is probably the number one pitfall that will stop people from getting to fully actualize what would be a blissful career move for themselves. The how you're going to do it should actually come about 6 steps later, after a full investigation of a lot of other things. And if you do the how too early, the number one thing you're probably going to do is choose the wrong vehicle to move forward in and find yourself desiring to quit your bliss because you chose the wrong vehicle to do it in. Does that make sense? A lot of people on this call have experienced getting excited about something and then rushing into it only to conclude, oh, I got falsely excited. But the truth is you didn't get falsely excited. You got appropriately excited about where your purpose and your bliss intersect, but you rushed to how you wanted to implement it too soon. So if someone reads the book, they'll say, oh, what are the steps in between discerning my bliss and deciding how to execute on it?
Now, Patrick, I want to go back a little bit. I wanted to have you share a little bit about your past experience. You have the one-man show. What exactly is that? What was that about?
Oh, thanks, Sheila, for asking. There is a medium in theater. There's a form of theater called the one-person show. And that means it's just you out on the stage for 2 hours. My show happened to be 2 hours. And my show was intended, my show was just strictly for entertainment, laughs, and drama. It was called Man 1, Bank 0. And it meant that my job for 14 years and 400 shows around the world was to go out on stage and entertain with a real true story from my life. And so I would take on 15 different characters in the show. I'd, play the old man or the young woman or my mother or my brother or the bank security officer or the lawyer. And so it was acting and showing some slides is sort of the documentary element of it. But most of all, just taking the audience on the journey of a true experience from my life so that they could experience it with me in real time. And it won many top comedy awards. I got unbelievable invitations to perform in the two most rarefied comedy events on the planet. One is HBO's Comedy Festival in the United States of America. I was invite only. So there I was performing with the likes of Jack Black and Joe Rogan and Chris Rock and Jim Carrey and Sarah Jessica Parker. I couldn't believe I was standing around those people. And then to perform in Just for Laughs, the #1 comedy festival in the world. And as I said, I toured it for 15 years. And that's what the show was about, was telling the audience an extraordinary story. I have a book on it. Yeah. The book is currently published under the title Cash Me If You Can, because Hollywood is attempting to make it into a movie. Cash Me If You Can.
Nice. Yes. And I actually attended one of those shows that you did a while back. So yeah.
Oh, Sheila, you came down to Oceanside.
I did.
Oh,
so I did get to see that show. It was incredible. Yes. So well done. So that was you, and this is you now, still following your bliss and helping people. And so that is really incredible. And you also have a book. It was more of a parenting book. And that book is my flippin' favorite. So could you share a little bit about that book? About it's like your relationship with your son and this whole
I love that you interpret that book is called When You Are Bursting.
Yes.
When You Are Bursting. And I love that you interpreted that book as a parenting book. That's really, really wonderful for me to hear. That is a book of 40 personal, true stories from my life.
Yeah.
Any category. They were just stories that I thought, well, I'm a storyteller at heart. This is a story I would like to share. But you're right, because I'm a father of two, at least half the stories in that book are about parenting.
Yes. And I loved that. That was like my favorite, because I have 6 now grown children. So I was like, I get that. And this story that I mean, I was laughing and crying all by myself reading your book. So
I'm waiting for our connection to reestablish itself here in a second. It just took a hiccup.
It does that sometimes.
Let me see. We've connection so far, and
you're back. I see you.
You're frozen on the screen. So if I'm unresponsive to your questions, Sheila, it's because currently you're frozen on the screen, but my screen is working very hard to refresh yours.
Connection for yours. I don't know. Let's reestablish that. Okay. So we were talking about following our bliss. And I got into my own little stories about my own, how it kept showing up for me. The bliss, following the bliss, and how it keeps showing up in your life. No matter where I was placed, there I was doing that same thing. So
yeah, beautiful. Right? That our purpose, we can always execute on our purpose, no matter what circumstance we're in. At Bliss Champions, what we like people to understand, though, is you can be conscious about where you desire blissfully to apply your purpose to. Right? Your purpose remains a constant through your whole life. Where your bliss calls you changes. It evolves. For instance, my first bliss calling was to go into inspirational speaking. But then later on, it evolved. After 13 years, it said it would be really joyful. I feel called to go into the theater world also. It wasn't an or, it was I'd like to add the theater world to my career. And so that's why we say, look, your bliss calls you to new chapters of your life, but your purpose remains constant.
Yes.
Sheila, what I know, you've referenced it, but what I know of you, and I'd like to sort of double down on your audience for, is Sheila's purpose has something very entirely to do with helping children who need help. No matter where Sheila goes, her purpose leads her and rewards her for lifting children up and giving them the support that they're missing.
Thank you. Yes, this is so true. And it is such a gift to be able to work with people, especially young people, and do that. So I'd love to hear, Patrick, one more time, because we are actually coming to the end of our time, about where people can get the book. And then for those who are looking for your full program, how they can apply to that program.
Thanks. Would love to receive anybody's application for Bliss Champions. If you go to blisschampions.com, you'll see right on the front page of it that we're accepting applications. And there's it just means that you're jumping on a phone call with myself or my wonderful business partner, Eric, and we're just getting to know each other. My books are all available on Amazon.com, and the best way to find them would be to just start by entering my name, Patrick Combs, and that'll show you a list of the 5 books I've written.
All right. All right. Thank you again, Patrick, for being a guest on the show. And for those tuning in, we'll be back after these messages, so stay tuned.
Thanks, Sheila.
And I have a political message for you today. Are you ready to hear about politics? Probably not. So this season in the United States, if you are here, it is political season. So it's very interesting, and everybody's going to vote for somebody, hopefully. So vote your passion. But the most important thing that you can vote for is yourself and your family, your values, and your belief systems this year. So give yourself a vote for time for you, self-care time, time with your family and friends. Don't just spend your votes watching and listening to everybody else's opinion about what's going on or who you should vote for. You know your values, so vote for you. All right. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and I have some news for you. Yes, you. I'm celebrating my 3rd year now on the station, and will be expanding the show to a global network as well. You may now find the Sheila Mack Show on all major podcasting channels, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, all the episodes are now available for viewing there as well. And I'm asking you for a quick favor. If you like the show, please help support the spread of this REBOOT channel on YouTube as well. My goal is to help as many people as possible through our interesting times to rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your business and personal life. I also wanted to share a little bit more about how I got here, what I do now, and how designing a business career and life on your terms is more than possible at any age or stage in life. I am an enterprisingly forward-thinking consultant, show host, and best-selling author. But how did I get here? Well, I began my career as an entrepreneur and property investment strategist back when I was 23 years young, when I boldly quit my government job with NASA JPL to open my first of 5 large gift stores, while also starting to invest in property. I got to work with some of the world's most loved companies, such as negotiations on leases with Warner Brothers and winning trips to London as the top-selling Crabtree and Evelyn provider in the U.S. for multiple years. My stores were built on heart as I gave back to the community I came from. So now, some of you know this and some of you don't know this, but as a young girl with parents who were not well enough to care for me, I was homeless at age 10, then in foster care, where it was really hard to get a job while in the system. I finally emancipated at the age of 15 to start college early. While running my stores, I worked with a government program. Back then, it was called Job Training Partnership Act, making my stores an open source training site where close to 200 at risk youth started their careers. Yes, I began my career helping business leaders and working professionals to design a life they love where they can have success in their careers and get to the business of life. See, a funny thing happened along the way. When I first opened my gift store, it was kind of crazy because I was this young upstart. That's what a lot of the store owners called me. My first store was in Montrose, California, in this sweet little hometown shopping park with other stores and restaurants nearby. And so I was the young upstart that didn't know what she was doing. At least that's what everybody said. And I didn't really care what they said. At that age, their opinion was like, I don't really care. So that was probably a really good thing because I stayed focused on what I needed to do. And I had negotiated to lease out a 5,000 square foot gift store that needed a lot of work, and I got free rent and for about 6 months, and I had to start making the rent, which was $5,000 a month, which was a lot of money back then, $1 a square foot. And so I had to learn and relearn. I finally did hire quite soon in the game. I did hire a marketing expert, branding expert, I guess back then, and that lady really helped me to figure things out when I first started. And when you first start a business, especially when you're young, it was like I had no idea what to do, but I needed to learn because my rent was going to start coming due every month. And over that time, I started having more success. I did crazy things like stayed open until almost midnight every night, along with the restaurants who were very close to my store, while everybody else closed shop at about 5 or 6 p.m. So I was making more money from the start, and I just really, my store was to help my kids, and the products I sold was whatever the community wanted. I sold lots of things to people in the entertainment industry. I worked with cruise ships. I worked with many different people in the community. And later on, the store owners actually came to me and asked me if I would consult them and help them. I actually started buying my other buildings because I didn't like the idea of paying rent for years and years and years and not building equity. So I did get my real estate license through that and invested and bought my other 4 store buildings. And lots of the other store owners worked with me, paid me to consult and help them do what I was doing. And I didn't really even know it was called consulting. I just knew how to figure it out, I guess. And so that's how I started my career. And now, I raised 6 children, all that, and now they're grown. And so I get to come to work every day and do what I naturally do best as an enterprising and forward-thinking business leader. Through my show, courses, and live events, I guide entrepreneurs and working professionals like you through the profitable steps of building a business, creation to expansion, marketing from planning to implementation, wealth preservation through strategic planning and, yes, real estate investing, and lifestyle design so that you can earn more while getting back to the business of living your best life. So I do invite you to tune in here to KCAA Radio, and also I would really appreciate it if you went to my YouTube channel, Sheila Mac Show, and gave a subscribe and a listen to some of your favorite shows. And I do have some other exciting things, including a free gift to thank you. So if you go to www.sheilamac.com, that's SHEILAMAC, SHEILA'Mac.com. There you can get a free gift to get started on your reboot this year. And now back to the show.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye-bye.
All right, if you're just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we are also streaming to YouTube at Sheila Mac Show and all major podcasting channels. And we'll be visiting some other special shows. I have switched to all natural beauty. So if you'd like to learn more, go to SHEILA'Mac.com and click on Natural Beauty to learn about Beauty Counter. And that is something I'm now repping, but I also am only using the Beauty Counter all natural products. It has made a huge difference in my complexion and is a wonderful way to just only have natural products on your body. You can also go to beautycounter.com/Sheila, SHEILA, Mac, MAC. But the easiest thing to do is just go to SHEILA'Mac.com, SHEILA, MAC.com, and then look for the Natural Beauty tab. Necessitated. You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Out of the fog. If you weren't emotionally bound up in your situation, you would have more clarity. You would be able to see your best options for dealing with whatever comes up. If the version of yourself who has already walked through this rock bottom and come out the other end could go back in time and give you, the you right now, some advice, what would she say? Would she tell you to slow down, to stop rushing, that you don't have to have all the answers today? Would the future you recommend not making any major decisions without reviewing them first, particularly while you're still in the fog? Would she tell you that normal is going to look different for a while, but that you will feel normal again? In case we haven't invented time travel by the time you read this book, I'm here to tell you all of the above. I developed the Boots formula to help you learn to make choices, have a life shift, and make great things happen based on your individual values and best life vision. A change is going to happen, and it's worth it. There's a stage where it feels like everyone in your life is picking at you. Life itself may seem like it's trying its best to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All you hear is, "That's a stupid idea," and "That's never going to work," and "Who do you think you are?" One of the hardest things for people to do is to realign and possibly walk away from anything and anyone that conflicts with their value systems. But you are going to discover that power within yourself. Through the activities and examples in this book, you will discover your true north and will be able to easily do what is needed to move forward with your life. Anything that hurts you, that doesn't resonate for you, that fights against what you want and believe in, you are going to give it the boot. Once you have turned your rock bottom moment into a positive, beautiful life shift, you can live your life on your terms. Your life will probably look different, but you get to design it this time. You are taking your life back, and you are in charge, not anybody else. Sooner than you can imagine, you'll be in the career of your dreams or the relationship you always wanted. Because you are going to learn to develop healthy boundaries. Because you are going to do things differently along the way from here to there. You will begin to attract the people, the job, the place to live, all of the opportunities that align with who you are, your essence, your truth, not anybody else's or even society's expectations of the way you're supposed to be. Once you have accepted that you are in charge of living your life and you begin to embody living your truth, people are going to see you.
They're going to be inspired by you. Then you're going to hear, hey, can you show me how you did that? I want to do it too. When you assess your peer group and up-level according to your life purpose and vision, and once you have created a life shift for yourself, whatever that looks like, your life is not just full, it's fulfilled. Not only do you get more and better sleep, you wake up feeling rested and happy. You know that you're doing what you need to do. Yes, sometimes your heart will call you to leave certain friends or family members in order to find a more aligned peer group. From what I've seen, however, the ones who leave always return to lead their family and friends to success. Because your friends are more in alignment with your beliefs and value system, they support you while also pushing you toward your personal best. Life still involves work, but as a whole, it feels far more effortless. But you don't have to wait for the right person, right job, or right investment opportunity to show up. You can start living now so that every moment as you go forward through the process of recovering from rock bottom and redesigning your life is one more step to being the best version of you, the one who came.
All right, if you are looking to reinvent life on your terms, if you are grieving, experiencing financial turmoil, career shifts, relationship problems, parenting, elder care, victims of abuse, breaking free from an addiction, or seeking an overall business and lifestyle redesign, then you may need a reboot. It is not size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. You are tuning in to the Sheila Mack Show, where we answer real questions with real solutions to help you reboot your business and personal life. Now, I have reminded you about my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And the core of that book is lifestyle design. So it's going through chapters of different things that happen in everybody's life to one extent or another. We talk about starting over, rebooting, back on track after losing a loved one, a divorce, our kids grow up, we are parenting our parents, and more, relationships, ups and downs, renegotiating relationships, business, career. And every time you have a life shift, you have the opportunity to redesign your life. And so the main focus is every chapter will help you reboot through where you are. You go to the chapter that speaks to you during this time in your life, and then you go to the main focus of the book, which is lifestyle design and getting back on track. But this time, the difference is you get to live life on your terms. All right, so to learn more, go to SheilaMack.com. My name is spelt SHEILAMAC.com. And there I also have a free gift for you. Looking forward to seeing you there. And as always, I wish you life, love, laughter, and light. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today I have a couple of announcements. First, I would like to hear from you. That's right. I would love to hear from you. To be honest, I want to know what your breakthrough is, what your reboot is. How are you reinventing and rebooting your life? What shows would you like to hear more of? What information do you need to help you get back on track this year? And to do that, the best way to connect with me is actually through my new YouTube channel, and that is Sheila Mack Show on YouTube. And there you can see past recordings, and you can also see other
other information and shares that I have, and I would love for you to share in the comments there what you're needing more of and what you're rebooting this year and how we can help you get back on track.
Hey, so recently I had a funny situation where I had this guy message me, and he kept messaging me. What the heck is this about? He wanted to know this and that, and I knew it was a sales pitch, and he was providing services to help me do certain things that I have no interest doing. And so he was like, "You must want this and I can give it to you." And I thought to myself, "Well, how interesting. How much does somebody assume that what my definition of success is has anything to do with what they envision as success?" And I finally had to block him because he kept messaging over and over trying to sell me his course or his, I don't know what the heck he was trying to sell me, but it was based on his terms. And you know what? That gets pretty old pretty fast. I don't want to live life on somebody else's terms. I'm designing life on my terms. And so that's really important to me. And it has just given me a lot of freedom. If someone is trying to push something on you that's their vision of their success and it's not something that's your success, don't waste your time. Send them on their way. You know, their advice isn't even worth a dime if it's not aligned. And that's one thing that I believe is that when you're redesigning your life, when you're reinventing, when you're rebuilding, when you're rebooting, when you're starting over from scratch, it is the best time to design life on your terms, to reevaluate and decide, hey, you know what? These are where I'm at right now. These are my new values, my core values that I've taken with me and things that I need to adjust. But this is what success looks like. Success sometimes can be so simple. You don't have to take a big vacation to go spend time with your family at the beach or by the pool. You don't have to go spend so much money on gifts when during this holiday season, that gift of time, just playing in the park, playing ball with your kids or playing with your puppy, something like that could be your version of success for today. And let that be okay, because that's what matters most. Thinking about what matters most to you and living into that truth. Own your truth. My version of success and happiness doesn't have to be yours, and yours doesn't have to be mine. And that's okay.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and I have a special free gift announcement for you. That's right. Get a free introduction to the Boots formula and meditation by joining our email list for business leaders, busy moms, and rock stars like you. To get your free gift, just go to www.sheilamac.com/free gift. That's right, sheilamac.com/free gift for your gift today. All right, if you are just tuning in, this is Sheila Mack, host of NBC's Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. And one of the things we did mention during our talk today is there is a special resource that not a lot of people know about. It is the 211 resource. So if you Google 211 or call 211 in your state or province in Canada, you will find a lot of help for friends, family, or if you need help yourself. 211 is a free and confidential service that helps people across North America find the local resources they need. They are there to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So keep that in mind. Things that they can help with are food resources, mental health, healthcare, housing, transportation, income, utility assistance, and much more. You have Mastermind live weekly courses
And those are available at SHEILAMAC.com, SHEILAMAC.com. I have a giveaway gift for all my listeners, especially for beautiful, authentic you. Request your free introduction to the Boots formula and Boots meditation today at www.sheilamac.com/Boots meditation. Sheila, SHEILAMAC.com/BOOTS meditation. All right.
So here it is, my latest book. I have to let you know something, just between you and me. This book is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
To grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now available on Audible as well as on Amazon and Kindle and at www.sheilamac.com.
Is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
Grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now available on Audible as well as on Amazon and Kindle and at www.sheilamac.com.